Hey guys, it's yours truly. It's 10:39 p.m. on March the 10th, 2023. This is another project update video. So you guys saw this steam locomotive before. This is my Bachmann Spectrum, New York Central, Niagara. You guys know that this is the second steam locomotive that I bought recently, besides the Bachmann China QJ, which I rebuilt completely. And this is the second one that I'm in the process of rebuilding. So it's actually missing a smoke deflector, and the front pilot I had to remove because it was dainty and cheap. So I'm going to be rebuilding that. Um, but that's not what this video is about. It's about it, but it's not about it. But anyway, if you're looking at the centipede tender here, it's not a coal tender anymore. It's an oil tender. So I did this conversion last night, and if you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys saw me doing the conversion. I actually did this in a couple of hours. Um, it's pretty much scratch built out of thick styrene. So the oil filler here is made from the center section of a Proto 2000 Jeep 18 fan. So you basically cut the fan shroud around, like cut around the fan shroud, and then that's like the center section. Uh, Using that as an example, it's basically that center dome right there. And I glued that on, and then this was some scrap styrene that I had. That was a nice shape, so I put it there. And then this hump is actually from it's an Atlas SD24 um, turbo hump, like the turbo bulge that's on the side of an SD24. That's where that comes from. So you're probably wondering how this is actually held on. Well, it's held on with this screw at the back here, and there is a magnet under here. So I'm going to take the screw off for you guys, if I can. It's pretty well secure, and I wanted it to be well secure because you don't want it flopping around. I want to get a different screw. I want to get one that's actually a flush screw, flush mounted screw. That way it looks better. I painted everything using Tamiya semi-gloss black, and then I sprayed it with flat clear. So once you remove the screw, you can basically just take the top off. If I can get it off, because this is a very powerful magnet, guys. Like, I chose like a very strong magnet to do this. I'll just do it this way. There we go. And there you go. So there's the magnet. There's one magnet, and then there is the other magnet. So this is how I built the inside of it. And there's bracing underneath. So basically I took my Dremel tool and I ran around the entire perimeter of the coal towards the lip of the tender here. At the back here, where this section is, I actually did a hole punch technique, and then I went in here with my Dremel tool with the round sanding disc, not disc, but round sanding, I forget what it's called, and I went in here and sanded all this smooth, and then the first pieces of styrene that I installed were here, and then these beam sections here that were cut down. And then I put this angled section back here because there was no real way to actually cut a section out to fit there flush. And yeah, it still works. It's got the DCC decoder in there. The speaker goes up here. I don't think the magnets are going to affect the speaker. I mean, the speaker's going to be like down there on the floor, so it shouldn't affect that. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and it's pretty good actually. It was a pain to get these magnets to sit because I forget what these are earth magnets. Yeah, these are earth magnets, so they're very, very durable. And to get them to stick onto other surfaces, you have to literally sand the top of the magnet, and then that's what you do. And then what I did with this is I first glued this magnet on, and then I glued this one on like that, so that when it was all put together, it's completely flush. But yeah, that's what I did last night, and it looks great. I like it. I also purchased a all-weather Canadian style cab for this locomotive, just because I don't like the look of the current cab. I don't like it. I think this engine deserves a all-weather cab. It's from Cowscale. It's a plastic kit, which you can buy them in plastic or you can buy them in brass. I actually bought the plastic kit, and because it's an all-weather cab, the steps are actually going to be right here as opposed to on the tender. So I might figure out, I had to figure out a way to get these steps off the tender, but more than likely I'm going to leave those steps on, just because, you know, usually with an all-weather cab like the Chinese engine here, you only have these steps on the tender, but it depends on what railroad has them. I was trying to find I was trying to find a Rapido tender to put with this, but I said no, that's not going to work. But I'll make it work somehow. I got to figure out if I have to cut this off, which I really don't want to do because this section here actually has has a screw here that goes to the piece of styrene back here. So all this, it's kind of necessary to keep this. So I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can keep that and still have the all-weather cab. You know, I think I can make it work. I think for the better part, at least it'll close this gap in here, make it look more realistic, in my opinion. So, and hopefully I can get another smoke deflector for this, because it just doesn't look right without it. ALW, if you guys know who that is, they custom make box cab electrics and box cab diesels and fireless locomotive kits for like Bachmann engines. He actually has a smoke deflector kit that you basically could snap to size. I was thinking about buying them and seeing, but I don't want to buy it and it not be, not fit. So I'm gonna try to find another Bachmann shell like this with the smoke deflector and just use that shell as a part shell to just get the smoke deflector, because the smoke deflector is actually a critical structural component of the front pilot here, because the front pilot is actually held on with these steps here and the smoke deflector, which I don't know why Bachmann did it that way, because they should have just made it one piece with the chassis, but they didn't, so for whatever reason they made it that way. But when you're finished putting your stuff in your tender, you just put the magnet on, you slide it forward, and then you put your screw back in the hole, and you can screw it down if it'll cooperate with me. Whoops. But I definitely want to get a flush mounted screw for this tender, because it doesn't, it's not that noticeable because the screw's actually painted. It's kind of hard doing this one hand, guys. The screw's actually painted, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's how the top is held on. There was some paint running. I don't know how that happened, but some of the paint actually did run. It kind of makes it look like there's a dent there, and I think I'm going to leave it like that, because for whatever reason, let's just say, well, you can see the marks on the top here of this, so you could say like maybe a boulder fell on it or something, and it just, made a dent. But, it's just something different. I'll figure it out. I'm probably going to weather it and put some different stuff on here that makes it look, really weathered. So that might hide it a little, or I might just repaint it again and see what happens with that. It's not a big deal. But that's what I've been working on, guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will be making more very, very soon. So you guys be cool, and I will see you later. Bye, y'all.